Today, I want to talk about something that I get asked all the time by my clients, by my friends, by people on Instagram, through YouTube comments. The question I often get is about dating and relationships. There's been one type that gets asked about the most, and it's manifesting generators. So I felt really inspired to come on and make this video talking about what do I think is the most supportive, or what's the best match for a manifesting generator when it comes to love and relationships. And I feel if I were to intuit why I get asked this most by manifesting generators is because maybe you're a manifesting generator watching this, so I'll just speak to you. You can have such a complexity to you. One, because you're operating at a level that kind of like supersedes all of the other types. I mean, you're obviously pumping energy way harder than a projector, way more consistently than a manifester, blowing the reflectors out of the water with like physical energy, and you add a special pizzazz that tops the generator, like a sacral generator energy. So there's a lot you're working with, which can immediately make you feel a little bit set apart, or maybe a bit foreign. And I think we all feel foreign regardless of our astrology, any of these things. But I do feel energetically manifesting generators can feel like they're in like a different kind of different orbit, especially when it comes to relating, where there's a process of attunement and connecting to another and slowing down. And maybe that's not everyone's process, it's definitely my process. But relating requires meeting each other and seeing if you can meet each other. And sometimes you can't, and that's okay too. Now, the second component is that you're a hybrid type as a manifesting generator. You're a generator baseline, but then you have these manifestor superpowers that, again, give you this extra oomph, that give you this kind of rare quality that when you're operating true to your generator baseline, you can be like a manifester. You can make moves like a manifester once it's informed from your generator baseline. So it kind of makes you a two-type person. You're part generator with this extra gene of manifestor qualities, which might feel like someone is not only, take this if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. When you're dating people or in a relationship or looking for a relationship, you might feel like there's two parts of you. The part of you that as a generator just wants to, like be in your authentic expression and own your energy and say yes to what feels good and like be open and available to life. However, the manifestor in you has an aura type that is actually a bit more closed and repelling, because you're not here to entertain and engage with everything. You're actually here to be selective and efficient. So when someone's getting to know you, it's got to be someone who loves your openness and your enveloping qualities and can celebrate that in you, but also can celebrate your independence and your need for efficiency and your need for maybe even a level of directness, whether it's like that they are communicating to you directly, which helps you snap into gear, or they're okay with you being direct and clear about your wants and needs. And at a baseline, I think it's helpful to know the kind of qualities that are going to be really supportive for you in a person. And then we can talk about actual types and profiles. Maybe profiles. One, someone who is either equally independent in their own passions or very supportive of yours. Manifesting generators are going to struggle with people who are hyper dependent upon them, who are outsourcing their own energy, who just look to the manifesting generator to like tell them what they're going to do and tell them where they're going to go and kind of like fawning on them. I have noticed in manifesting generators that they do best with people who are also quite independent. Someone who is okay with independence, okay with doing their own thing, or will massively support you in your passion and individuation. And I think that's what I was getting at. I could actually see a manifesting generator thriving with someone who supports their freedom. Not only that they support it, like they accept it and honor it, but they're physically supporting you. Like they're like, hey, why don't you go do that? Or what about that? Like they're even a little less free in a way that they are able to like see you as the star. I don't know, maybe that's something that comes up for me. But I think that another quality that really supports manifesting generators in relationship is someone who is versatile. I think that, when I when I contemplate the energetics of an MG, they are so multi-talented and multi-creative and multi-passionate that I could imagine to feel really fulfilled in a relationship or a romantic connection that's like ongoing, whatever you want, someone you want to build something with, they have to be someone who inspires you and perhaps, has lots of layers. I think we all have layers, but also some people have like less layers, like they can be very simple. Like, I am what I am, this is it. I think a manifesting generator would really thrive with someone who's quite versatile and maybe also a little complex and has their own nuances and quirks and different layers that they almost can like be intrigued by getting to know more and feel like they are getting to re-meet their partner. They're getting to re-meet them and like learn new things about them. So maybe someone who's adventurous, maybe someone who is dedicated to growth. That's a big one. I feel like manifesting generators need to be with someone who's really dedicated to their growth and evolution, because manifesting generators do really well with change, right? If they are a yes to something, they can initiate change. They can initiate and go after what they want. And that will likely take place in an evolutionary kind of circuit. So I think they need someone who can keep up with them and who is devoted to growth in their own way and evolution in their own way and expansion in their own way. Fourth quality, I think I'll limit it at before I get into some types. With all that being said, I could also imagine that a manifesting generator might need someone who's a little bit more grounded than them. So they have a complexity, they have lots of layers and passions of their own. They are devoted to growing. They are supportive of independence and they have their own level of independence. But maybe they're a little grounded, a little grounded in the way that the manifesting generator isn't quite. Because then they can kind of keep their feet on the ground in a way. Not in a way that limits them, because a manifesting generator will run away from that quick, but in a way that positively gives them a tether. Like, hey, you can come back down. Like, let's just be here for a minute. Someone who can provide grounding and presence and stability and space for the MG to like let their wheels stop spinning and relax. I think that would be a very important quality. So these are things you can look for in a partner. Maybe you hear this and you're like, no, I don't want that. Cool. But let's think about types. I have noticed that I've seen a lot of manifesting generators date projectors. And I'm curious about that because in my mind, I don't really see it. But maybe it's that fourth component where a projector, not always, but typically has like a little less physical go energy. Like go energy, not like a dancer, but So maybe the presence and the depth of presence that a projector can embody if they are living their true design. A lot of projectors aren't doing that. They have to go through their own process of deconditioning. But if they're able to be really present and attentive and not so focused on burning energy or trying to be something, but just like holding a space and being present, that could feel really nourishing for a manifesting generator. So I could see that working. And then the projector gets to receive that sacral energy and then feel the benefit of that, right? So that could be a great fit as a projector. I would probably say as a manifesting generator, because there's different authority types of projectors. There's self-projected, there's ego projector, there's splenic projector, there's mental projector, there's emotional projector. I think if you have emotional authority as an emotional manifesting generator, you might really do well with an emotional projector, because you both can understand and have a consciousness, ideally, hypothetically, around your emotional waves and support each other in that. I also feel like there's something powerful about maybe like a G-center projector, a self-projected projector, because there's both of those types have a strong focus on the individual. Where am I going? What do I want? And even as a projector, a self-projected projector is meant to have a very strong sense of personal identity and path in life. So if you're compatible and your paths are going in a similar direction, that could be great. If you're not, it probably wouldn't last very long. But I have heard wonderful things about projectors and manifesting generators when it works, when the dynamic's right. And I don't know too many manifesting generators who have coupled up with another manifesting generator. I do believe in the harmonious dynamic of two generators being together. So I feel like if you're a manifesting generator, being with a generator, they probably have a little bit more of a likelihood to be able to keep up with you. And ideally, perhaps they have centers that you don't have defined so that they can show you something different. So let's say you're an MG with all your lower centers defined, you might really gel with a generator who has more of their upper centers defined, right? And none of this is to cut anybody off. I'm a true advocate for like, you have to feel who you're drawn to. You have to be with people physically in like the present moment and notice how does it feel being with them and let that develop over time. But I do think there are some cornerstones to look out for and some core attributes. So as a manifesting generator, you need someone who can keep up with you or who is immensely supportive of your path. But depending on where you're at in your life and what you want and who you are, you might also really deeply benefit from someone who's a little more grounded than you, who's supportive of your path, but can provide peace and grounding and presence to nourish you along the way, which you could find in a generator, in a projector. You could probably find it in a manifestor. But it's really about looking for those qualities. And if I were to say any profiles, manifesting generator, maybe a 3-line, someone who has a 3-line quality. 3 lines all about experimentation and newness and trying things out and innovating and adapting and shifting and changing and trialing and erroring. So I think a manifesting generator might really work well with someone who has that 3-line quality or someone who embodies those qualities just through how they be in life. But the last thing I'll say for manifesting generators, because you have that hybrid manifestor quality and so much of what contributes to a manifestor feeling in their power, experimentation. So I think it's really healthy for manifesting generators to, date around, let yourself experiment. I call this taking notes, you're gathering information. How did it feel talking with that person? And how did it feel going on a date with that person? And I'm not necessarily saying you should just go and be with a lot of people. But if that's what you want to do, for sure, go ahead, do that. But I think if you are intentionally dating and taking note of what is it that really feels right in your system, not necessarily what your mind wants, but what feels really good in your body, the thing that you're like, wow, that certain energy that person had, I want to keep going back. What is it about that? And ideally not in a toxic way, but in a sense of being able to identify what really nourishes you and what feels like you want to build upon it. And sometimes that's something you can get clarity on when you have more experience, when you allow yourself to intentionally date and not just hyper focus on one person, but say, if you're looking for a relationship, say, I'm gonna really intentionally date. I'm gonna ask really good questions. I'm gonna take a lot of time to just be present with people and notice how I feel. And I'm gonna have 3 dates, 4 dates, 5 dates, and notice, is there a consistent theme playing out? Because the impression you get on the first date might not be what you feel on the 5th date. You might initially feel really hesitant, but that might be your MG motor just spinning on hyperspeed. And if you have a 3rd, 4th date with that person, you might notice something different starts coming through. So be patient, experiment, take notes. I would say go slow as much as possible. I think it's very easy for manifesting generators to, jump into things quickly. And this is a huge component of what I love to work with women and their nervous systems and sexuality. And I'm not even saying necessarily sexuality, but it's definitely a part of it. Go slow, feel things out, take time as much as possible. Try to take things with a sober eye and notice how you feel over time. And that's going to show you a lot. You've given it different things tries, you've tried different avenues, and then there's just that golden thread that's I want that. That's going to show you a lot. That's going to help you understand what works for you. So that is what I have for you manifesting generators on dating. I hope this was supportive and helpful. If you have any tips you want to share with the rest of your MGs out here, let us know. Have you dated an MG and you're not an MG? Tell me what your thoughts are. What do you think they need? I'm curious to hear. I have never dated a manifesting generator, I don't think. No. Dated a lot of projectors and more generators recently. I'm not dating a lot of people, but if I track the people, I've never dated a manifesting generator. I've talked with them, but anywho, I will see you on the next video. Let me know in your comments below, and thanks for being here.